Do we have to do Christmas movies now? We can't just wait till after Thanksgiving or the weekend of Thanksgiving for those to start? Really? Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell and this is once again coming from my apartment. Today we're going to be talking about the film Almost Christmas. It's not Almost Christmas, but the film is called Almost Christmas. So let's talk about it. The general premise of this film is that it is about 4 or 5 days before Christmas is going to happen in this small town, which apparently doesn't get snow, and this dysfunctional family is all coming together after it's been about a year since their mother passed away for Christmas, and so a lot of the film is kind of dealing with that in the background, but also showing just kind of funny situations that this family gets into. Danny Glover, I would argue, is the main character of this film because he has the most screen time and the film focuses probably more on him than any other character. They all get their own general amount of screen time, at least the adults do. But Danny Glover is probably the lead role. He does a good job in this film. I don't see Danny Glover in too many things anymore. I saw him in the Rush Hour films, of course, but I don't really see him in too many things these days. So it's good to see him back on screen, and I enjoyed his performance. And then we have a list of other actors and actresses who I'm going to list off a few. I'm not going to cover everybody because that would make this a really long review. We have Kimberly Elise, we have Monique, we have Romney Malco, we have Gabrielle Union, and we have Jesse T. Usher. Just bunch of main characters in this, or secondary characters I guess, in this film. They all do really good jobs. They have, well, at least some of them have their own kind of focused stories where it's kind of just like background stories which get touched on every so often. We have two sisters who don't really enjoy each other's company. We have a high school romance which kind of died out back in high school, re-emerged in this movie. We have just shining sports athlete who is back in the pros but might have a pill addiction. Stuff like that, just kind of secondary stories which get touched on every so often, and it makes the film kind of predictable in that sense because if you've seen any sort of film like this, you know generally where this is going to go. And so all the side stories kind of play out how you'd expect them to play out. I also feel like the trailer showed a little bit too much in this film as well, at least it's not really the film's fault, but the trailer that they showed before I saw the film, it seemed to show just basically every single main part of the film, which is going to have some sort of funny sequence to it. So that was a little bit disappointing. A lot of those sequences still worked, but and part of that I think was because of the audience that I was in, but I recognized a lot of stuff from the trailer. Now that being said, this film was really, really funny. I found myself laughing a lot of the time throughout this film. Just at really funny scenes because these are all really funny actors and they just do a really, really good job doing their scenes really, really well. It's really fun when we have this family kind of come together, even though they're really dysfunctional, and just kind of have this one shining moment of fun, good times. And then when all the crazy stuff happens, you also have those really funny sequences because they're dealt with really, really hysterically. I also like the opening time lapse of this film because it kind of shows how this family started out with one kid and then just kind of how it continued to grow over about 30 years until the mother of the family eventually passed away the year before the events of this film start. And I thought that was just kind of a cool way to introduce a lot of the characters because as far as I know this isn't a sequel by any means, so we shouldn't know any of the characters in this film. So I thought that was a nice way to show this really large ensemble cast for the most part. But like I said, this film ultimately does deal with grief. That is kind of the overarching theme throughout this film because you have Danny Glover, most of all, he has lost his wife. He is trying to move on from that. And you just see the different ways that he is doing that. You have other members of the family who are dealing with it in their own significant ways. And those aspects are brought up every so often throughout the film. And I thought that it just kind of dealt with the overall general feel of grief in regards to losing a loved one very, very well. I'm lucky enough to still have both my parents, so I can't relate entirely to that. But I thought that the film still did it really, really well. And then at the end of the film, during the first part of the end credits, we have some bloopers, which is, again, becoming a rarity in films these days, but I really enjoy it when they have it. And so they had about 2 minutes worth of bloopers at the end, and they're really funny, and they kind of just add some fun ending parts to the film. So guys, I thought Almost Christmas, it's fine. It's nothing that's going to blow your socks off, but I think it's a genuinely fine, good Christmas film. I had no major issues with it outside of it being kind of a predictable story, but the hilariosity of this thing and just how funny some of the scenes were kind of made up for it. And so I found the film really, really fun, and I thought that Danny Glover's performance was really, really endearing. So guys, those are my thoughts on Almost Christmas. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Did you like it as much as I did? Did you hate it more than I did? Let me know. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe once again if you so choose. I appreciate it immensely. And as always, for my people, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.